இன்னைக்கு வந்து வேர் இட் பர்பிள் டேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்கள் கம்யூனிட்டிக்காக ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு ஐ ஓப்பனரான ஒரு கெஸ்ட் ஸ்பீக்கராக என்னை கூப்பிட்டுருக்காங்க இன்னைக்கு.
And we have this special speaker series for Wear It Purple today, and we're really just thrilled that Karun is able to be with us and share his story.
I was thrown out of a club in Bangalore because I had flowers in my hair. So when I walked in on a surprise, he held my hand and took me to go to the road. He said, go to the road and urinate. They don't ask us if we're coming from, they're not asking us if we're coming to do sex work. They're not asking us if we're smuggling stuff. They're not asking us anything illegal. எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். இன்றைக்கி வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்டான லொக்கேஷன் வந்திருக்குன்னா நம்ம EA சேம்பர்ஸ்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு இடத்துல வந்து ஐம் அட் த ஆஸ்திரேலியன் கான்சுலேட் ஜெனரல் ஆஃபீஸில் இருக்கேன். இன்றைக்கி வந்து வேர் இட் பர்பிள் டேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு எங்கள் கம்யூனிட்டிக்காக ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு ஐ ஓப்பனரான ஒரு கெஸ்ட் ஸ்பீக்கராக என்னை கூப்பிட்டுருக்காங்க இன்றைக்கி. என்னை வெல்கம் பண்ணி வந்திருக்காங்க. இங்கே போய் ஹலோ சொல்லுவாங்க உங்களுக்கு வந்துட்டு.
Karun, thank you so much for coming and being here today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Vanakkam. So please tell people what am I here for?
So we're so pleased to have Karun with us today to help us celebrate Wear It Purple Day. So Wear It Purple Day started in Australia in a high school in Sydney to show our support for teenagers and young people who are exploring the way they express and identify, LGBTIQ community, young people. We want to really show our support for diversity and inclusion. And we have this special speaker series for Wear It Purple today, and we're really just thrilled that Karun is able to be with us and share his story.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be here and speak on behalf of the entire community, for people watching this and for people from all over the world, where I'm speaking on behalf of all of them. So thank you so much.
We are very grateful for you coming, Nandri.
So let's go and see the speech upstairs.
So we're standing here in front of a mural that we had installed done by the Aravani art community, which is a community of women and trans women artists, showing how inclusive art can be as well. But here on this mural, we particularly have some depictions of Australia. So you probably recognize our famous kangaroo and our crocodile. Be careful of the crocodiles and where you swim. Here we have the Sydney Opera House. Sydney is my hometown. But also the gay pride flag, because Sydney has a very famous pride march in March every year. But also our connection to South India and the wonderful deep culture here, particularly for the trans community. Again, we have some kind of cross-cultural references. We have a large diaspora community of Indians in Australia. And Chennai and Australia, of course, share a love of the beach and the seaside. So I'm really pleased that I had a chance to show Karun this beautiful artwork that we had done and that which hangs here in our foyer.
Thank you all for gathering as we celebrate Wear It Purple Day, of course in all the nice purple outfits that you're in. I'm very happy to introduce you all to Karun Raman.
So much. Vanakkam.
Vanakkam.
LGBTIQA?
Super.
We are really excited to have you here with us on Wear It Purple Day. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you a few questions and we'd love to hear your story.
Yes,
so as I said, Wear It Purple Day started with some high school students who wanted to be sure that their own colleagues felt supported and included. Can you perhaps tell us a bit about your own journey and how it was for you being a teenager here in Chennai?
Well, that's a very good evening. Ellarkum vanakkam. Me per se, as a person, when I started off my journey as a youngster, I studied in a school where predominantly was a boys' school. And anybody different was always looked upon differently. Regardless to times now where things have changed so much, where education and there's so much of awareness on internet and people understand that being different is a way of living now, I hope. But I had a very tough childhood because acceptance was a big question mark. I was not looked upon like any other person was. I was looked upon as somebody who was an alien to the community. I was looked upon somebody who was outrageously not wanted to be seated next to have lunch with, or to be seen at a sports academy or anywhere in the ground, anywhere. So I used to get scared because in the interval times I used to hide in the toilet, and in the lunch times I used to hide under the bench. Because if I didn't do that, I'll get beaten up or I'll get bullied. So being a very, very effeminate boy from the time I was a kid, studying in a school in Chennai was not easy at all. Not just me, from a lot of people. So I think a lot of youngsters who come from my community are predominantly are people who have suffered a lot with abuse by students and from teachers. So I come from a family where I used to have a very abusive father, I used to have a very abusive childhood, where I've spoken about it in a lot of interviews and I've spoken about it a lot in my documentaries, and where when I go home, I have to face an alcoholic father, and I come back to school, I have to face all these elements. So I had no there was nothing for me to, I had no output. I had nobody to cry to except to my mother. We had to face a lot of problems because my dad used to beat me up. We had to face a lot of problems that I was a child, because he didn't want me to be the way I was also. And if it wasn't for my mother, I think I would have been dead long ago, or maybe I would have been begging in the streets, I don't know. I think life would have been very miserable. I don't think all these transgender kids will be begging in the roads and doing sex work. I don't think there'll be so much of suicide. There won't be so much of honor killing. There won't be so much of forceful marriages. And I think everything starts at home.
Thank you for sharing that story. We saw also earlier this week that Tamil Nadu took quite an innovative step in issuing a list of accurate terms for use for people around gender identity and sexual identity. Do you think that kind of positioning makes a difference for your community?
A huge difference. Now the transgender community can freely walk post 7, because in the evening times they get scared to walk because they get sexually abused by cops or by mufti cops, which are actually not cops but guys who grow up mush and think they're man enough to bully a weaker segment of people. That is stopping now. I got a few calls from the transgender community saying that, sir, we're very happy. We can finish work and get home. We can go for a movie and come back. Or we can go to the beach and sit down freely. We don't have to get beaten up. They don't ask us if we're coming from... They're not asking us to come into sex work. They're not asking us if we're smuggling stuff. They're not asking us anything illegal. They're looking at us with respect and they're saying, are you safe? So that's a very nice thing that the government has done right now. And secondly, I appreciate for the fact that there is a rule that if any higher official or anybody from the police department or from the ministry, anybody misbehaves or harasses the LGBT community, will lose their job immediately without any further, it'll be done and there. I wish the same thing comes for rape and for so many other things. There's so many other illegal things happening in this world which can be stopped. But for now, at least there's some start. I think teachers need to be educated. I think every school needs to start education on first educating themselves. Secondly, I think every parent needs to be okay with the fact that the child is different. Rather not beat the child and scold the child and say, no, you cannot cry. Men don't cry. That's not right. Everybody can cry. Why shouldn't a man cry? Everybody has emotions. Why segregate a segment of a race and make it look like it's so wrong to cry and show emotions? So I think parents need to be educated. I think most of the parents need education where they can handle their children the right way. That way, as I said, the transgender community doesn't have to go and beg. They don't have to go and stand on the road and do sex work. They don't have to get beaten up and treated badly. I'm fighting for toilets right now. Do you imagine? I'm fighting for building toilets for the community, because these trans girls, they go to a women's toilet, they get pushed away. They go to a men's toilet, they get sexually abused. They go urinate in the road or anywhere, they get infection. They fall sick, they die. So, I mean, they're human beings, right? I'm so surprised that there are no toilets separately for them. So right now, my agenda, with a lot of help from the government and with people, I'm trying to get help to build toilets for them, which is a very, very big deal. For us, it sounds so simple. But you wouldn't believe it. Right? As I was saying, actually, it's not simple. Do you know, I don't know if you read about this last month. There was a big scandal. It was in every news publication. I was thrown out of a club in Bangalore because I had flowers in my hair. So they thought I was a prostitute. They thought I was a transgender who came into a club by mistake to flirt with men. But I was at the table which had the biggest billing of the night. I had from champagne to everything on my table, and they didn't know that I was from the table. So the first time I went to use the restroom, the guy in the restroom said, it's full. So I said, okay. So I came back to the table, I sat again, and I was wearing a kaftan. So I had to use the closet inside, and I couldn't go to the toilet outside. So I said, okay, I went and sat at my table. So second time I went again to the restroom. He held my hand and said, Jao, go outside. I said, okay, that's weird. So I came back to my table, I told one of my girlfriends, I said, something's really weird. I said, you come with me, let your boyfriend come with me too, because you can't enter the men's toilet. And this is all in the men's toilet, it wasn't the women's toilet. So when I walked in, on a surprise, he held my hand and told me to go to the road. He said, go to the road and urinate. So I was like, I am Karun Raman. I'm a big name in the industry, but I was taking away the rights to pass urine at a club where I'm paying the highest bill at the table. He did not know that. the management came. I started crying because everybody came, because my friends started fighting with him. It became a big fist fight. I didn't know how to handle it. I got emotionally drained out. When people are coming and asking me, are you okay? That was the other thing even more. When they came and asked me, are you okay? I'm so sorry, this is never happens in Bangalore. I said, it's fine, you know. But people came and keep on started asking, are you okay, okay? It irritated me even more. Because I said, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. It's me who's facing that ego clash. Obviously, my ego was very badly hurt. I'm 38 years right now, and I've been told to go to the roads to urinate because of the way I was dressed.
Yeah.
Because of the way they judged me. I could have easily brought the club down, made a big scene, got 100 people outside, protested, but for what? It's just publicity, it's forgotten the next day. Who goes back home with a sad face? Me. So I said, if I face this, imagine how many other people are facing this. So when the management came, they told me, sir, I'm so sorry he's not educated. I said, that's not the answer you give me. You educate your staff. You have such a fancy club where people from all walks of life come. Your staff doesn't know the difference between a man and a woman? Okay, Charlie doesn't know. If somebody's going to use the toilet, let them use the toilet. That's humanity. That's a basic courtesy that you have.
You are strong. I don't know, you need to,
and I speak on behalf of the entire South Indian LGBT community, because a lot of South Indians relate to us all over the world. And I think this is very important. That's why I wanted my channel to cover it also, because the importance and the acknowledgement that you guys are giving us is very, very important also. And thank you for that.
No, I mean, it's a core part of Australian values that we support people from all sexual identities. And, you know, in Australia in 2017, we had a very landmark decision that to legalise gay marriage. And it was a huge popular campaign. The tag was Love is Love, right? And I think in Australia we've made big strides. I mean, we're not a perfect country and we haven't always been perfectly inclusive, but having these conversations, making sure that workplaces, Australian workplaces, whether in Australia or abroad, as this kind of consulate is, are using our platform to support those values, right? We also participated in the Chennai Pride March earlier this year, and all the team had t-shirts with the rainbow hearts, because love is love. And we really want to be able to do what we can to support the community here. So, you know, I'm hoping we can really stay in touch on that, and you can let us know. But if it's all right with you, I might now open to the audience to see if anyone has any questions.
Sure, if they do.
Ideas that we could pass on to, say, our parents or our siblings, in case do you have any sort of suggestions?
We can probably start at home and with our neighbors. And I think what we could start off with just telling them it's okay. It's different when it's another child, it's different when it's your own child. But it's the same everywhere. Some other person's kid also, right? So I think parents nowadays are understanding because of the fact that they have education through social media, they have internet. When I was about 10, 15 years ago, and I was much younger, we didn't have anything except for Facebook. That is the only medium. Now you have so many platforms where people are connected. People know what it is all about. There's no darkness about it. But acceptance is something that's very, very difficult. Like my own family also, even though my immediate family is okay with it, but not my extended family. So for me to make them understand is such a big process, because by now they should get to know it. And I think this is the future. I think the younger generation, we can start off from them, where we could explain it to our friends that it's okay that if the child is different. And I think every school, that's what I'm planning to do right now. So I'm going to speak in schools. I spoke in a college, in DJ Vaishnav College, about the same thing, about bullying. And it's very sad to say, last month, a boy called Arav from Pune committed suicide. He's only in his 10th standard. Such a good-looking boy, such a well-educated boy, only son to his mother. The previous Miss India, Adeline Castellino, Miss India Universe, started the campaign and she wanted me to support her in this. It's very sad that this kid, who is his life to his mother, she brought him up so well. He was out to his mother, she and him were friends, she used to help him with homework, everything, but she never knew the other side which was happening in school, and that was bullying. He hung himself the same night on his birthday. And she didn't know because she thought he was studying and he was sleeping. But the next day morning, for a mother, the only parent, to see her child hanging like that, she's like, what did I do wrong? I was a perfect mother to him. But in school, the children were bullying him, they were poking him with a ballpoint pen, they were hitting him in the toilet. So I was so related because I was going to do the same thing. But the sports child, even now, had nobody to say anything to. So where was the neglect? In school. The neglect were the teachers, the neglect were, because he was so sweet, he didn't want to hurt his mother, so he always had a smiling face at home. So his mom never knew that he was suffering at school. So when the neglect started at school, this boy thought that that's the only place I spent so much time in. Maybe I don't need to be living in this world. Maybe if I die, I'll be much more happier. But I'm sure he's regretting it right now, leaving his mom. Imagine his mom has to live with it all her life that her only child is no more. People don't know, see the embassy is doing this now, they see one side of it, but the other side of it is so ugly which not many people know about. It's such a horrible world that we all live in, whether it's a high class society family or a low class family, it happens everywhere. So a child like that boy who died last month, imagine that was such an eye-opener, but nobody's talking about it right now. It's forgotten. The same teacher's gone back to school and taking classes. What is going wrong? Where is it going wrong? Is the government not taking enough action? Is the society not proving itself enough? So it's such a big question mark. I don't feel myself safe. I don't want to bring a child into this world and make the child suffer again. As much as I give that child my 100%, I don't know what the child is going to be facing outside. So I'd rather be by myself and tell my friends enough of polluting the place, stop having babies. Let's at least take care of the children that are right there right now. Do you have children coming in from Australia to study here? In the schools?
No, I mean, some of us have our children here in Chennai, yes, and they study in the schools. There are not so many Australian children, but some, of course, in Chennai.
Because if you ask them also, they might also find a lot of difference in the classrooms. I'm sure they might even tell you things that they, so many things like the wrong touch, the right touch. If somebody is touching you the wrong way, tell the parents immediately. Sexual abuse, child abuse is happening everywhere.
Those lessons are really important.
These things are very important, which they don't do in schools. I'm so surprised they still don't do it.
Yeah. It's also really nice to hear about social media as a force for good, right?
Definitely,
and as a platform for information sharing. Yeah. Karun, thank you so much for coming today, sharing your story. I think everyone got a lot out of it. We're going to have some refreshments now. I hope you can join us.
Yes.
And we're really very grateful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Great.
again.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel. சொன்ன மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு வந்து அவ்வளோ அழகான ஒரு ஸ்பீச் கொடுத்தேன். எனக்கு சப்போர்ட் பண்ண என் ஃபேமிலியிலேருந்து அருள் வந்திருக்காரு மலேசியாவிலேருந்து. ஸோ நான் நினச்சேன் சரி அம்மா இல்லைன்னா அருள் யாராவது ஒருத்தர் கூட்டு போகிறேன்னு. அம்மா சொன்னாங்க அருள் கூட்டு போ. அருள் also family to us. So Arul came at the Australian Consulate General today, Chennai, on Wear It Purpleday. So we spoke about all the awareness and about my life journey. And Arul is here to support me and we have a lot of plans. நம்ம கம்யூனிட்டிக்காக நிறைய பண்ணுற மாதிரி ஹெல்ப் வந்திருக்காரு. இவர் வந்து கம்யூனிட்டிக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, நாய்களுக்கு he does a lot of dog feeding, lot of feeding elderly people, நிறைய பண்ணுறாரு. ஸோ அடுத்த எபிசோடில் நிச்சயமாக என்னையும் அவரை நீங்கள் பார்க்க போகிறீங்க. Till then please tell them to share, subscribe and like.
Please அவரோட subscribe பண்ணுங்க YouTubeல. He's doing a very wonderful job. Please subscribe and watch and create awareness for this group. And thank you very much for watching and please subscribe again.
Love you.